Welcome to the BEASTwriter family where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we are going to be discussing all things NFL as it pertains to the compensatory picks that were just released by the NFL just moments ago. We're going to touch base on that, how that's going to play and affect the draft moving forward. More specifically, free agency, because what people don't understand is these compensatory picks have a significant impact on what teams choose to do or not to do in free agency as they head into the draft. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Let's go ahead and break down those comments. Again, I'm going to be using these banners that are going to be scrolling on the middle of your screen because it's really cool. What's up, 49ers Ultimate Report? How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. Andrew Schaefer, what is up, my man, from YouTube? YouTube is the way to go. All my peeps are from YouTube now. Look at Mariah. What's going on? I just got back to your comment on the Jimmy Garoppolo, how you said deuces. I thought that was funny. 3 rings, 5 years. What's good, my man? From Twitter, also on Periscope. How you doing? CG Ruthless Sports from YouTube. What is going on, my man? Thank you for tuning in. Let's get the ball rolling as we discuss 49ers football and basically all things NFL. So let's run down through the compensatory picks that were just released by the NFL. And again, for those who are wondering what compensatory picks mean, basically these are draft picks that are awarded for net losses or net gains. Also, they included now minority hires. So if a team hires a minority candidate from outside the organization, that initial team will be rewarded a compensatory pick in return. I get a hard time saying compensatory pick. I'll just say comp pick. No, but I like using the word compensatory. It just sounds better. It just rolls off the tongue better. But let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on today as it pertains to the compensatory picks, and we'll break it down brick by brick with each team. All right, the Arizona Cardinals do not get any compensatory picks. The Atlanta Falcons get a 5th round compensatory pick, number 180 overall. They also get the 183rd overall pick and a 6th round pick, 219th overall. So for the Atlanta Falcons, you get 2 5th round picks and an additional 6th round pick. The Buffalo Bills get no compensatory picks. The Carolina Panthers get a 6th round pick. All right. They also, actually 2 6th round picks, excuse me. They get 2 6th round picks. The Carolina Panthers. The Baltimore Ravens, they get a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick. And I'm going in alphabetical order if you guys can't tell by now. The Bengals and Browns don't get any compensatory picks. The Bears pick up 2 6th round picks, so that's good for them because they need all the draft capital they can get. They have a lot of holes on the offense side of the football, and they can't do much on the defense side because too much money is tied into those high-priced free agents and that they signed. All right, Dallas Cowboys. Look at them, man. They got a lot of compensatory draft capital to work with. They get a 3rd round pick, 99 overall, so a top 100 pick. They then get a 4th round pick, number 139, a 5th round pick, number 179, and a 6th round pick, number 227. So if you're doing the math, that's pretty much 4 compensatory picks, 1 in the 3rd round, 1 in the 4th round, 1 in the 5th round, and 1 in the 6th round. Denver Broncos don't get any compensatory picks. The Detroit Lions don't get any compensatory picks. The Green Bay Packers pick up a 4th round, number 143, a 5th round, number 178, and a 6th round, number 220. The Houston Texans get no compensatory picks. Man, Houston Texans, man, they need all the draft capital they can get. So Saudi. The Indianapolis Colts get no compensatory selections. Kansas City Chiefs pick up a 4th round pick, number 145, a 5th round pick, number 182. And again, if you're just tuning in, I'm breaking down the compensatory picks by each team that were awarded by the NFL earlier this evening or earlier this afternoon, depending on where you are in the United States or where you are in the world. Also, it's good to note that compensatory picks can now be traded. As in years past, they weren't able to trade those picks. You had to actually make the selections. Not in today's NFL. They made that rule change. All right, so let's move on. The LA Chargers, they get a compensatory pick in the 3rd round, and that's a top 100 pick, number 97. The LA Rams, they get a 3rd round pick. Ooh, number 101 overall. Another 3rd round pick, number 104. A 4th round pick, number 142. So if you're looking at the NFC West, the LA Rams definitely came out winners when it comes to being awarded compensatory selections. They get 2 3rd round draft picks, number 101 and number 104. And they also pick up a 4th rounder, number 142. So that's 3 overall for them. Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins don't get any compensatory picks. The Miami Vikings pick up a 4th round pick, number 144 overall, and a 6th round pick, number 223. If you're going down the list and you're watching this live right now, you will know compensatory selections at most 2. But then if you're the Dallas Cowboys and get lucky, you get 4. Or the Rams that just got 3. But most times it's 1 or 2. The New England Patriots, here we go. They get 2 compensatory selections, number 96 in the 3rd round and a 4th round pick, number 140. So 96 and 140 for them. The New Orleans Saints pick up a 3rd round pick, number 98 overall, a 3rd round pick, number 106, a 6th round pick, number 218. So you can tell by the free agents loss that they were hurting. They had a net loss. The NFL rewards them with 3 comp picks. New York Giants, the New York Jets, and the Oakland Raiders and the Philadelphia Eagles get nothing. The San Francisco 49ers, here we go. Dun, dun, dun. They get a 3rd round compensatory selection, number 102. The NFL actually awarded them an additional 3rd round pick, number 103 overall. However, that has been wiped out because you cannot have back-to-back compensatory selections for minority coaches moving on elsewhere. So in this case, it was Robert Saleh going on to the Jets, Martin Mayhew, the vice president of player personnel, becoming Washington's new GM. You cannot be awarded back-to-back compensatory selections when you have a minority hire that goes elsewhere if 2 people or 2 minorities from the same organization leave in the same season. So the next year, that pick will be awarded. So that's why they don't get 103. They only get 102 this year. Okay. They also pick up a 5th round pick, number 181 overall. See how I'm breaking it down for you guys? Because people are saying, oh, we got 2 3rd round picks. No, we did not. We only got 1 3rd round pick, and it was for Robert Saleh or Martin Mayhew. They don't tell you which one, but it was 102, and they were also awarded 103 by accident because, again, you can't do that. All right, Seattle Seahawks, you get nothing, bro. So no compensatory picks for them. Philadelphia Eagles get 2 6th round picks as compensatory selections, number 224 and 225. The Pittsburgh Steelers get a huge 4th round pick, number 141. That's good for them. I'm going to talk about that more in detail later. The Tampa Bay Bucks pick up a 6th round pick, number 217. The Tennessee Titans pick up a 3rd round pick, number 100. So again, they get a top 100 prospect, having the 100th overall pick. And Washington gets nothing, as I just pointed out. All right, so without further ado, that's the compensatory selections that were awarded earlier today. See how I cover all 32 NFL teams? I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it because obviously that's what we need to do. So without further ado, let's get to the comments as I come back live into this stream. What is up, Rashi from YouTube? Thank you for tuning in. Jonathan K28, I've got to take. I'd rather take Trubisky over paying for Sam Darnold. Yeah, I don't know. I like Sam Darnold more than I like Mitchell Trubisky. I talked about that earlier, and this is awesome. Drew Burrows, thank you for tuning on the Facebook. Just remember, I got to get my giveaway so you guys can see what it is because obviously you guys don't know if you don't follow me. So, this is what we have. If you guys are tuning in, you guys are like, where'd I go? Like, where the heck did the beast go? You go to the bathroom break? No. So I'm running giveaways for all you guys who subscribe to my YouTube channel. As I'm looking, a lot of you guys are still on Facebook. You guys have to subscribe to my channel on YouTube in order to be entered for these giveaways that I'm giving out and be part of the BEASTwriter family. We're really trying to grow the BEASTwriter family and the engagement and bring the social media engagement all in one social media platform. So again, this is what we're giving out. We're at 1,150 right now subscribers. We need 1,500 by the end of the week to unlock this giveaway. I'm already giving away the game day commemorative pennant, and this is also a Jimmy G bobblehead we're giving out. Also, we're giving back this premium legit backpack. Again, it comes with the NFL license serial number, so you guys know it's the real deal. This backpack is probably worth about $50 to $65. Probably, it's a pretty heavy duty backpack, to be honest. It's still in its package sealed. Anyways, yeah, if you guys don't subscribe to my channel, you guys won't be entered for the weekly giveaways. Again, I'm trying to grow the YouTube community and the BEASTwriter family all into YouTube, so go ahead and do that. People are going to say, well, how do I subscribe, bro? How do I do it? I want to subscribe. I want to subscribe. So in order to be entered for the BEASTwriter family giveaways, you're just going to have to subscribe. You can do this simply for watching on Twitter or Periscope or whatever the case may be. There's a link in my bio. You can subscribe there. Or you can simply just copy and paste the link below. Open up a YouTube account if you don't have one, similar to Twitter. You can watch it from the app on your phone, on your tablet, whatever the case may be, on your laptop. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'll keep this running right here so you guys can see exactly what's going on. So if you guys haven't heard the news by now, we are going to be talking about Trent Williams on possibly returning to San Francisco. If you guys haven't heard that news, he, along with Richard Sherman, went on the Cris Collinsworth podcast and basically popped the question, hey, what's going on with you, man, in San Francisco? Like, what do you think you're going to play? I'm just going to read it off right here because it's on my phone. It's easier for me to do it this way than to go through my tabs. And this is what he said. All right. So Sherman, as in Richard Sherman, was asked by one of the guys on the Cris Collinsworth podcast about where he thinks Trent Williams is going to play. And this is what he had to say. Sherman says, quote, I've got San Francisco. I've got him staying in San Francisco for the faithful. I think he stays in San Francisco. I think he makes you guys happy for another 5 to 6 years, and he gets his gold jacket and then decides whether he wants it in Washington or San Francisco. Williams then doesn't disagree with that assessment. He says, and I quote, that's not a bad take, fellas. That's not a bad take. Y'all barking up the right tree. Williams then went on to say if it, there's obviously a reason why he's testing free agent waters. And Sherman, he said he didn't want to play twice in Seattle. So he's like, oh, well, the question was then bounced back to Trent Williams. And so he asked, oh, so what do you think Richard Sherman's going? He's like, well, and then he was just naming AFC West teams or AFC teams in general. It's like, as long as it's not the Seattle Seahawks, we'll have to play them 2 times a year. So people are saying, oh my gosh, Trent Williams is a done deal. No, it's not. It's still not a done deal. I think this is just a huge smokescreen to drive up Trent Williams' value. I think he was already given an opportunity in San Francisco. ESPN even reported it, that they tried to re-sign Trent Williams, but he's going to test free agent waters. Greg Rosenthal of NFL.com then comes on air saying that he believes Trent Williams is going to reset not just the left tackle position market, but also be the highest paid 2021 free agent in this free agent class. So with that being said, I think it's a huge smokescreen because, again, with free agency about to begin, you're going to want to drive up the asking price because if you're going to test free agent waters, you want to know what your value is. So when you go back to the table, if you go back to the table of San Francisco, say, hey, look, the Indianapolis Colts, who I think is a good fit for them, are paying me X amount of dollars. What are you guys going to do for me? Because you guys want me. I know what I deserve. I'm an all-pro. So pay me like an all-pro. Pay me what I deserve. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of things going on as it pertains to Trent Williams. What do you guys think? Leave your comments. I'll go ahead and get back to you. And also ask me any questions you have. So let's go ahead and switch up the banner for a little bit and talk about that. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comment section. Again, I'm running giveaways. If you don't enter my YouTube subscriptions, you guys will not be entered for the weekly giveaways. That's just how I do it. I'm trying to grow the BEASTwriter family, and that's how we are doing it nowadays. But getting back to your point, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to ultimately happen with Trent Williams. So we talked about Trent Williams. We talked about how the compensatory selections, gosh, I can't say it, compensatory selections are going to affect the draft moving forward. Obviously, with all those teams getting those draft picks, they can now leverage free agency how they see fit and whether they want to rather go and be draft heavy or maybe pick one of those players in free agency and then maybe give up draft capital in return. So trades can still be made. Draft capital is of the utmost importance. The salary cap was just released yesterday, so it moved down, from 198.2 to around 183, which is about an 8% increase. All right, from what was expected, which is about, I think it was like 175. So it's a little bit of breathing room there, but still not 198.2. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right. Thank you, Drew Burrows from Facebook from the Bahamas. Okay, 49ers for life. There you go. I see you. I see you. All right. It's always great to have an extra draft pick. 49ers Ultimate Report. You are not lying. All right. All right. So Tony Nagatani from YouTube also follows me on Twitter. Great guy. He says, wow, odds are either Ryans or McDaniel or both would become head coaches within 3 seasons. Imagine both become head coaches in the same season. Reigning thirds. Yeah, you'll get the draft capital. You definitely will get the draft capital if DeMeco Ryans departs. But we just have to see how he hasn't played. Hasn't played. He played. He hasn't coached 1 season yet. So we'll have to see how that goes. All right. What is up, Alex Rodriguez from Facebook? How you doing, my man? Thank you for tuning in. Trubisky is a bum. Don McLean says, yeah, I'm not a fan of Mitchell Trubisky at all. I like Sam Darnold more than I like Mitchell Trubisky. Twitter receipts, my YouTube receipts are now up there, but I'm not afraid to put them up there because my track record speaks for itself. I get it wrong, I get one wrong, so be it. Look at the other times I got it right. But when it comes to this, again, that's why I put my YouTube and Twitter receipts out there. I think if it comes between Mitchell Trubisky or Sam Darnold, give me Sam Darnold any day of the week. As long as Sam Darnold doesn't see ghosts. If you guys don't know the story, he sees ghosts, and basically his time clock in his head when the pocket collapses is expedited. All right. Darnold is better than Trubisky, but is it worth draft compensation if it costs a second or late third? Andrew Schaefer, great question from YouTube. I believe that is worth it, that he is worth it. Now, again, draft position plays a role. The way I see it is what I give up, what the 49ers have, which is what, the 43rd pick overall, whatever that second round pick is. I'd do it. I would do it because, again, when you look at it financially, it's much cheaper and a much better play than going after a guy like Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, you're going to have to give up a farm. You're going to have to give up a core foundational player like a Fred Warner, like a Nick Bosa. I'm not doing it. And then you peel back another layer of the onion to get to the core and say, okay, well, look at these other guys who could be questionably traded to the 49ers. What will it actually take? If you're looking at the draft, are they going to trade up? You have to give up draft capital. Is it worth it? I would say no, because what are the odds that these quarterbacks actually pan out? Every year we have these quarterbacks that never pan out. I'm not saying they won't, but based on past behavior, all these quarterbacks are always hyped up. I mean, look at Ryan Leaf. What was it, back in 1998 or whatever that draft was with Peyton Manning? Was it 1998? When Peyton Manning came out, Ryan Leaf came out. It was like, who was the better quarterback? And the list goes. Achilles Smith. Remember Achilles Smith from the Cincinnati Bengals? Everyone thought he would be the savior in Cincinnati. So number 11. So it just goes on and on and on. Now, obviously, you have quarterbacks that do pan out, like Andrew Luck and so forth. But I don't know. I just think if you're looking at it from the 49ers perspective, Sam Darnold had little to be working with. And I think that's a better play because of the simple fact that he didn't have anybody around him. Like, you can put Deshaun Watson on the Jets right now with that offensive line and no offensive weapons and no running game and see how much success he has. I guarantee he wouldn't be putting up top 10 quarterback numbers. Maybe top 15, maybe. But then again, I probably doubt it. And the reason I doubt it is because who's he throwing to? Who's blocking for him? Who's helping him out in the running game? Go look up the roster. And if you can name one player who was worth retaining on the New York Jets on the offense side of the football, then you might have a case, but you won't because there's not one player. I already did the research. You're going to say Jamison Crowder, he never had a 1,000-yard receiver, right? He never had a 1,000-yard receiving season. So it's like, okay, what exactly does Sam Darnold have working for him? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Put me at offensive line, I can do just as good of a job. I'm just saying. It's like an ole. Ole, let the edge rusher go. Last Second Sports from YouTube says, never let a player leave the office without a deal. Trent has left the office. Don't bank on him coming. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you for tuning in. Last Second Sports from YouTube. Again, if you're not following me on YouTube, you won't be entered for our weekly milestone giveaways, which I will release on Family Fridays at 2:30 p.m. on the live stream. And that is something that you guys want to catch up on, because who doesn't want to score free gear? I mean, a bobblehead, a 49ers pennant, game day pennant, commemorative pennant, a 49ers backpack, still all in its bag with the NFL licensing on it. I mean, I'm just saying, man, go out in social media and find someone that gives back the way I do and the way the BEASTwriter family does. I don't see it happening. If you do, shoot them my way. I'm all for it. Maybe we can collab. All right. Jonathan K28 says, Andrew Schiffer, I think Darnold's potential is better than Trubisky. Yeah, I agree with everything he's saying. I like that. All right, let's move on. Lorraine Scarborough says, get the crew back together from Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Lorraine, be sure to get a YouTube account and follow me on YouTube and subscribe to my channel so you'll be entered for scoring our weekly milestone giveaways. All right, let's go ahead and start some stuff. 49ers Ultimate Report. Friday, Ryan, which free agent would you sign if Trent leaves to replace him? Wow. So if I'm looking at free agents and offensive tackle, I would rather continue to build through the draft. I think that's the way teams are built historically and traditionally, and the best way you build teams are from the inside out. Obviously, offensive line. As you guys know, I am a firm believer in building teams up front, down in the trenches. But the draft is the way to go. You don't want to pay for an overpriced free agent to be a plug and play. You want to develop somebody. They're not one or two players away. Now let's talk about Emmanuel Sanders, because that's going to come into conversation next anyways. It's coming seamlessly here. Would it be a smart play to bring back Emmanuel Sanders? Well, the team traded for him as a half-year rental player because they were one or two players away. Now, with Kendrick Bourne, we don't know what's going on with him. They obviously need a wide receiver that can sustain healthy, who knows the system. Kyle Shanahan went on record, and John Lynch went on record saying it was one of the hardest decisions for them to make to let Emmanuel Sanders walk. He was just released by the New Orleans Saints after signing that 2-year, $16 million contract. Obviously, Quan Alexander was another guy who's now going to be released by the Saints after being traded by the 49ers to the Saints for Kiko Alonso. How do I remember this? I don't know. But it's interesting to point out that Emmanuel Sanders could make his way back to San Francisco. What are your guys' thoughts on Emmanuel Sanders? If he was to return to San Francisco, he would ultimately be the number 3 wide receiver, because let's face it, Deebo Samuel is going to be the number 2 wide receiver if healthy. I don't see him relegating to a number 3 role. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk, in my estimation, has garnered the number 1 position when all 3 players are healthy. If Emmanuel Sanders makes his way to San Francisco, what do you guys see his role being there? All right. Jamal, thank you for tuning in from YouTube. All right. So what else do we have going on? Drew Burrows, you are making great points here. And your question to me is, if you were Lynch, would you keep Jimmy G or move on? And what route would you go to replace him? That's a great question. Thank you for your question, Drew Burrows. Again, follow me on YouTube so you can be entered and score our weekly giveaway, BEASTwriter family giveaways. But getting back to your question, I would wipe my hands clean of Jimmy G, simply because I think he's damaged goods at this point from the mental aspect, where when you talk about football from the shoulders up, I think mentally he's just mentally drained. He's not in it anymore. When you're putting stuff out there like, yo, we're looking somewhere else for the second consecutive offseason. I just took you or helped you to get to the Super Bowl, but yet you're still trying to replace me and upgrade at the position. That just doesn't do well for Jimmy Garoppolo's confidence. How can anyone succeed under that kind of undue pressure? You can't. It's plain and simple. So I would give him a fresh start. That's fair to him. I would go ahead and get whatever draft capital I can get in return, or a quarterback like Sam Darnold. That would be my number one decision. I would go ahead and actually make a play for Sam Darnold. I would trade Jimmy Garoppolo if the Jets were willing to take him for Sam Darnold. And then what the Jets can do at number 2 now is they have draft flexibility. I pointed this out on an earlier Sam Darnold podcast. If you guys didn't catch that podcast, you guys can go ahead and just Google search this. I'll put it on the banner. And you guys can just Google search the Sam Darnold scenario I played out. Just type in, if you're on YouTube or whatever, Darnold, type in BEASTwriter. There, just Google search this. You'll be fine. And you will find that article, or excuse me, that podcast on what I had to say about that, because in the end, this is what I think it's going to play out. So here it is. I'm going to put it up right here. And there we go. All right, so Google search Sam Darnold, BEASTwriter, whatever, in YouTube. You will notice I put up a trade scenario where Jimmy Garoppolo and Sam Darnold would be basically not a swap, but how one trade impacts the other. I think you can trade Sam Darnold to the San Francisco 49ers for a day 2 pick. I would make that move. If the Jets don't want Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd then ship him off to New England, recoup that second round pick that I lost from Sam Darnold. Now I didn't give up any draft capital in return and still got Sam Darnold on a rookie contract. Make sense? Makes sense. So you're basically not losing anything, is what I'm trying to say. You're gaining something. All right, let's move on. Jonathan K, 28. I understand what you mean financially, but with the cap dropping, picks are even more valuable because we need ready-to-play guys. Mitch won't get more than $10 million and cost him. But yes, Mitchell Trubisky is not the answer, though. Robert Watson, thank you for tuning in from YouTube. Always love discussing with you. Honored to have you as part of the BEASTwriter family. Anybody who subscribes to my YouTube channel is part of the BEASTwriter family. We do big things here. I have a big announcement coming up in the next week. Stay tuned for that. Actually, I have a few big announcements. This YouTube channel is growing, and it's basically untapped movements here. So I say when you talk about the BEASTwriter movement, join the family. This is what it's about because, again, I cover all 32 NFL teams, and all 32 fan bases are inside the BEASTwriter family. We have fans from all over. If you haven't watched my earlier live stream, Michael Miller from 49ers Facebook fan page, his Facebook group, 49ers Fans for Life, he was on. He's hailing all the way from West Virginia. So we have all kinds of people on the tube and the BEASTwriter family. All right. Let's keep going. What's going on, my dude? How you doing? From Twitter. Make sure you get a YouTube account, bro. I keep telling you, bro, get a YouTube account. Click the link in my bio. I know you follow me on Twitter, bro. Click the link in my bio. Open up a YouTube account. Follow your boy. All right, Michael Morrison. We would all love to keep everyone, but if we have to lose someone of the core, who do you think that should be, and for who and why? That's a loaded question. Okay, that's a great question. Thank you for tuning in, Michael. Again, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put the banner up because people are like, I can't find you. It's like, oh, no, maybe I should just do this. You see that? Just go to youtube.com/BEASTwriter. Again, if we hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of the week, I'll be running all these giveaways that I just showed you and more. I mean, you're talking about a bobblehead. You're talking about this game day commemorative pennant complete with the NFL licensing on it. Again, all our stuff is licensed. This is the NFL licensed backpack that the 49ers gave me. I'm just saying everything's so fresh and so clean here in the BEASTwriter family. So be sure to subscribe to my channel. But getting back to your question, bro. That's a great question, and I would say let Trent Williams walk because he's going to help reset the market. I don't think you want to entertain a bidding war with a team like the Indianapolis Colts, who have GM Chris Ballard there, who's not afraid to pull the trigger on household names. He did it with edge Justin Houston, did it with tight end Eric Ebron, did it with trading for DeForest Buckner, got Phillip Rivers, made the most recent trade and blockbuster deal for Carson Wentz. So when you get guys like that, I don't think anything's out of the equation. So that's why I say that when it comes to Trent Williams, it could be buyers beware. You don't want to play yourself and overpay for an aging left tackle, although he's more likely than not to be a Hall of Fame left tackle. I just don't think that he's worth more than $18 million. And I said that on an earlier podcast. Again, if you have yet to watch that podcast, just Google or engine search BEASTwriter, Trent Williams. Stuff will pop up, especially on YouTube, because all my stuff is posted on YouTube. All right, let's move on. Keep shooting me those questions, guys. It's fun. All right, it's all about the draft. No more rental. Yes, Robert Watson, absolutely right. Me and Robert went back and forth on this and had a great discussion on it. Back and forth, I mean, we had a healthy discussion, not like we were bickering at each other. Robert gives great insight. He agrees with me in that, yeah, why would you want to mortgage your future with rental players? Like people who say Stephon Gilmore should be in play for Jimmy Garoppolo. No. Why? He signed a 5-year, $65 million contract. He's playing in the last year of his contract. So if you trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the New England Patriots and then get Stephon Gilmore in return, what's the point of that? What is the point of that? That was the trade that was made by Mark Reese, where you trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the Patriots for Stephon Gilmore or a second-round pick. I can see the second-round pick. I pointed that out in my Jimmy Garoppolo analysis on trade value a month ago. Again, that receipt is still holding strong. If you want to watch that podcast, just type in BEASTwriter, Jimmy Garoppolo. Stuff will pop up on YouTube, and you can watch all my BEASTwriter timeline as it pertains to Jimmy Garoppolo. Is nuts. But yeah, everything it pretty much holds true. But I would not go after Stephon Gilmore, who's in the last year of his contract. I mean, I know we need to replace Richard Sherman, but at the expense of getting Stephon Gilmore and trading away Jimmy Garoppolo, nah, I'd rather draft a guy like J.C. Horn at number 12 or trade back and draft J.C. Horn at number 12, who's in my current mock draft going to go to the Tennessee Titans. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's answer some of your questions as we talk all things NFL. Of course, we talked about the compensatory picks that the 49ers got that was released by the NFL earlier today. All right. Jamal from YouTube. This is what he says. He believes that take whatever quarterback falls in the second round, Kellen Mond or Kyle. I don't like Kyle Trask. I actually don't like Kellen Mond either. That's just me. I could be wrong. Not saying I'm right. Like, oh my gosh, BEASTwriter said that. They're horrible. I never said that. I'm just saying I wouldn't take them. All right, let's get back to the question, or to your analysis, I should say. So you like Landon Dickerson from Alabama? Yes. If you watch my earlier podcast on Landon Dickerson, again, I cover all 32 NFL teams. You will know that Mel Kiper has Landon Dickerson actually mocked to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 24. I was just talking to some Yinzers late last night and early this morning on that podcast. I will go ahead and type in that podcast so you guys can go ahead and see what I'm talking about. Really good stuff there. Landon Dickerson, I already broke that analysis. Again, he's a Florida State transfer, had some ACL injuries, had a history with the injury problems. However, I believe that Najee Harris will be the smarter play there at 24. If he happens to slide to 24, I mean, that's another question, but that's something that remains to be seen. I think Landon Dickerson, in my opinion, is the top offensive center in this year's draft class. Again, I am going to copy and paste that article in the banner below, or the tracker below, I should say, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys are saying, oh man, you always say it's in the description, and I can't find it. So I'm going to have to just put it out there for you so you guys can find it easily, because that's what you guys are here for, right? You guys are like, what the heck are you talking? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Beast? Like, I can't find it. So anyways, just go here. I'm going to put it right here for you. This is the URL for, you guys are like, that's a lot of mumbo jumbo numbers and alphanumeric stuff. Well, just type in BEASTwriter Landon Dickerson or BEASTwriter Najee Harris and stuff will pop up. So you can find everything. Also, I'll include my podcast playlist at the end of each live stream or each episode. Just click the description box below and you will be able to find all that information. Obviously, it's live right now. You won't be able to see it, but if you go and see my past podcast, it's all in there. All right. Let's go ahead and move on and answer some of your questions, guys. Let's continue. We're getting a lot of questions. All right. Let's go ahead and see what we will do. Drew Burrow, thank you for subscribing, bro. I'm telling you, also when you subscribe, People are saying I don't get notifications. That's because you have to turn on and flip on the bell notifications. Yes, it's a two-step process, kind of like how Facebook does it. You know, when you like a page and then it says, do you want to see the notifications? You have to flip the notifications on. Same concept with YouTube. They want to show content that you really want to enjoy. So obviously, if you like my content, flip on and turn on the bell notifications once you subscribe so you get notified when I go live or when I upload content. I don't know why they do that, because obviously if you're subscribing, you would think that would show up in your feed by default. It used to be that way back in 2012, not so much in 2021. All right, let's move on. All right, so Jonathan K28 from YouTube. By the way, what do you guys think of the comment section being like this? If you guys follow me on my live streams, I was doing a little play here. I did the other one where it was just kind of transparent background. I did this one yesterday where it was kind of like big, bold. It would like come across the freaking whole screen. I'm not sure I like that one, but I like the color of black. So then I tried this one. If you guys like this layout better, please let me know in the comments section, because again, at the end of the day, this is all for you. So you guys got to tell me what you guys want so the Beast can do what you guys want. All right, let's move on. Christopher Ross from Facebook. Thank you for tuning in, Christopher. Again, be sure to subscribe. I don't know why I have Raiders trade Trent Brown. I need to change that banner. That should not be on there. Let's go ahead and do that. What the heck happened? Here we go. Right here. People are going, what the hell? Raiders trade. Yes, the Raiders did trade Trent Brown. That was yesterday's live stream. I put that up. But getting back to this podcast, let's go ahead and talk about that. Again, this YouTube video that I just put in the description below right here on this ticker. Go ahead and copy and paste that, and you will see my Landon Dickerson, Najee Harris analysis as it pertains to your Pittsburgh Steelers or the San Francisco 49ers, who obviously need an offensive center to replace Weston Richburg, who would save the team $4.5 million off the cap. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Gosh, I don't know how I remember all this stuff. But anyways, Christopher Ross, thank you for tuning in. Do you think John Lynch's job is in danger if they don't at least make the playoffs, especially when Peter A. got promoted to assistant GM? Yes. I was the one that put up the podcast that I believe GM John Lynch should be on the hot seat. I outlined it. I outlined reasons why. Again, people are going to be like, what are you talking about, bro? Where's that podcast? Again, people were chiming in after the live stream saying, I can't find your podcast. Which one is which? So again, if you subscribe to my channel, turn on the bell notifications, you will get notified every day of all 3, 4, 5 podcasts I do every single day. However, I understand everyone's busy. But you should get notified if you subscribe to my channel, turn on the bell notifications, and you will get the red dot notifications of how many times I posted a video. But in case you didn't, don't worry. Beast got you covered. I am going to put that up for you. But yes, and getting back to your question, I am going to post. See, this is what I do. I do the work for you guys, so it's easy for you guys. All right? Not to worry. If you just Google search John Lynch BEASTwriter, it will pop up, but in case you did not, I am posting this one up right now, and here I go. Currently has 32 likes, has 292 views, and 25 comments, which is pretty good. All right, so let me just go ahead and post that for you as I toggle between the things that I have to do here, so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about, because you guys are like, dude, what are you talking about, bro? All right, so here's another one for you, and this is as it pertains to John Lynch being on the hot seat. All right, so if you go to that YouTube link below, just copy and paste that in another web browser. It'll take you to the landing page. You can watch that. Subscribe to my channel from that landing page if you wish, and you will know my take there. So let me know your thoughts, Christopher. I break it down brick by brick. And I like Adam Peters. He's from Monta Vista, Cupertino guy. Can't go wrong with that. All right, Brand5257, my man from Twitter, also on YouTube. He says, breaking news, 49ers trade Eric Armstead for a rooted beanie, Red Bull, and a bag of Takis. Oh, man. For those who don't know, yeah, me and Eric Armstead, yeah, we have some work to do, but yeah, that's funny. 49ers trade Eric Armstead for a Bay Area rooted beanie, a Red Bull, and a bag of Takis. That's funny. What do you guys think of Eric Armstead? Do you guys think he's playing well? Do you guys think he needs Pro Bowl talent around him for him to be successful? My opinion is the reason why he had 3.5 sacks last year was simply due to the fact that he didn't have DeForest Buckner there. He didn't have Nick Bosa there. So in order for him to have success, he needs to be surrounded by better talent, kind of how Daniel Stubblefield needed Bryant Young. That's my take. What's your take on that? If you guys don't know who Bryant Young is, don't know who Daniel Stubblefield is, look it up. I think Arik Armstead's 2.0 from a production standpoint when it comes to the pass rushing standpoint. All right. Bob Money from YouTube says, draft a quarterback. Lunar Mystic. I love Lunar Mystic. Awesome. Lunar Mystic, I have a question for you. You were on yesterday's live stream, so I'm going to ask you this question specifically. What do you think of the comment section, the way I set it up right here? Do you like this format, or did you like yesterday's format? Get back to me on that. I'll also post something up on the community page, and I might take a poll so you guys can, so I can gauge what you guys like best, because I'm still playing around with this thing. I don't know. All right. Greg Kennedy from Facebook. Greg, thank you for tuning in. Again, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get live updates and also be entered for our weekly giveaways. I can't do that unless you subscribe to my YouTube channel. So with that being said, I will answer your question. Thank you for tuning in. Should we look at signing Patrick Peterson for the low? No. For those who don't know, I have my own grading system. I don't rely on PFFF. I actually run those grades, and I graded Peterson all year long. If I pull up his stats, which I can do right now, it's not good. It is not good. So Patrick Peterson to me is well beyond his years, his well past his prime. I get the fact that people look at the household name and be like, oh, can he be a plug and play? No, he cannot. He lost a step. He gives up big first downs week in and week out. And based on my grading system, I will let you know right now. Again, I grade majority of NFL players, always the household names and the top ones. I also have year-end voting rights as part of the Pro Football Writers Association, which is why I take my grades very seriously, and I grade every single snap. So let's just open Patrick Peterson right here. All right. How in depth am I going to go? I cover all 32, and I'm not playing. Here we go. All right. So in my grading system, it's always out of a ranking of a 10 with 5 being average. Usually how my grading system works out, if you're anything above 6.3 to 7, you're a Pro Bowl player. Anything above 7.3 above, you're an All-Pro. Obviously, Fred Warner grades above 7.3. However, when it comes to Patrick Peterson, in my grading system, he had a 4.6 grade, which is well below average. And when you take that a step further, you look at the games that he struggled in. You can look at the games in week 9 when he was going up against Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker destroyed him. And you take it a step further, and then you look at week 10 when he went up against Stephon Diggs. He did a pretty decent job there. So, yeah, okay. And then week 11 had a negative grade. Week 15 had a negative grade against the Eagles. Against the Niners, he did play pretty well. In week 16, he graded out 9. But if you guys, okay, so what's your grading system based off of, right? Well, let's go ahead and take it a step further. Based on the penalties, he had 8 penalties in the 2020 season and gave up 108 yards of hidden yardage. That's a lot of hidden yardage for a cornerback to give up. Take it a step further. How many big plays of 20-plus yards did he give up? 10. 10-plus plays of 20-plus yards allowed, all right, per play. That's a lot of yardage to be given up, a lot of big plays, right? Then you take it a step further. Look at how many first downs the dude gave up. In my grading system, he gave up 30 first downs. 30 first downs. That's a lot in considering moving the chains, time of possession, keeping other opposing offenses off the field. They're on the field. So, no, I do not like Patrick Peterson. I think he's a liability more than he is an asset. Didn't think I had that grading system. Didn't think I had that in my back pocket, did you? I grade every player, bro. I'm telling you. All right, Jeremy Long asks, I feel when healthy, Jimmy is better than Darnold. If you take away the offseason drama, wouldn't Jimmy be better? Yeah, true. I like Jimmy Garoppolo better than I do Sam Darnold, but that's, again, there is drama there. So you can't say hypothetically because it's there. So in a perfect world, it wouldn't be there, but this is not a perfect world. We all know how that goes. Next question, Robert from Facebook. Robert, thank you for tuning in. You were chiming in to my live stream yesterday. Be sure to get a YouTube channel. Not a YouTube channel. You don't need a YouTube channel. Just a YouTube subscription. Log in. Subscribe to my channel. you'll be good to go. It's free. Like it doesn't cost you a penny. It's like Twitter. It's like Facebook. Obviously, you know how Facebook works. Same thing with YouTube. Get on the tube. Be in it for my weekly BEASTwriter family giveaways. All right. All right. So he says, nah, Patrick Peters is done. Drop off in stats year after year. See? Getting a slower version. Basically, Sherman with less locker room leadership. I would agree with that 110%. My grades don't lie. See? Telling you guys. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. And again, if you have any other questions regarding anything NFL related, I am all ears. Again, I spoke about the Steelers, touched based on Landon Dickerson, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 24. Although I believe that place should be Najee Harris, although he may come off the board at number 15. To the New England Patriots, I already did a podcast on that. Again, you see the podcast here below. Go ahead and check out that one as it pertains to what I was discussing on GM John Lynch possibly being on the hot seat. There's a lot of podcasts, bro. I'm telling you. A lot of stuff you guys got to catch up on. And even if I do these podcasts 3-4 weeks ago, they still hold up. And look at what I had to say in real time and see if they come true. That's how I gain credibility, is based on my Twitter and YouTube receipts. Go do research, watch all my podcasts, and then tell me in hindsight or in real time what I had to say and see if they match up or see if I'm close. I'm just saying, they don't lie. They do not lie. Everything timestamped on social media, so I can't say I said it. I can't say I didn't say it. It's all there. And that's why I put it out there. I'm not afraid to put my analysis out there because more times than not, I am right. It is what it is, bro. All right. Frederick Fernandez, what is up, bro? How you doing? I wanted to know if we will draft a kick returner. We need a speedster with good hands, and we need a punter, need a long-range kicker. So you're talking about special teams, bro. Yes, they need a special teams player. Obviously, they had, they have guys like Richie James. People thought Dante Pettis would be the guy. Ultimately, I thought Dante Pettis could at least be a return man. I was talking to Mike Schumann, my man. Mike Schumann, former San Francisco 49er, Super Bowl winning wide receiver out of Florida State. If you guys don't know Mike Schumann, go follow him on Twitter, my man. Anyways, you guys probably know him. You guys see him on TV and stuff. But anyways, we had this discussion, and if anything, we thought Dante Pettis should be returning punts. We thought it'd be a good versatility. You're learning the lateral agility. It comes second nature to you, so you're really not learning how to make tacklers miss. You're learning how to use real estate to your advantage, or the lack of real estate to your advantage. Not really, because, again, it's all instinctive. So I don't know. I thought Dante Pettis should have been the guy, but they do need a returner. Now, who that guy is, Trent Taylor? I'm joking. I don't know. That's a question that we just have to answer in the draft. Hopefully they find the burner in the draft. I don't know. Jawan Jennings? Could he be that guy? All right, Drew Bros from Facebook. If we trade Jimmy and got Darnold, how much more cap space will we have available to make moves in free agency? Well, if you trade Jimmy G, you would save $23.6 million in cap savings because he's only tied little dead money to his $26 million cap number. How do I remember this? I don't know. And then Sam Darnold's still on a rookie deal, so whatever the difference is, obviously you have to take away the dead money that the Jets would absorb that cost, and the fraction of the remaining difference would be tied into the cap savings and rolled over into the 49ers payroll. I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like I'm talking a lot. And then from there, Drew, no, I'm joking. And then they can also from there move on into free agency. I don't know how that will play out. Obviously, there's still a lot of moving parts. We don't know what's going to happen with Trent Williams. We don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Juszczyk, Jason Verrett. Some of these guys are going to test free agent waters. Ultimately, I think everyone knows there's a good chance that Kerry Hyder is also on his way out. And whoever offers him more money, he's going to go to where the money is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's not one of those things like, oh, Kerry Hyder had a breakout year. Well, he was also in a contract year. And Robert Saleh is sitting there in New York, and he needs an edge rusher who understands the system. So don't you think that he would just naturally take Kerry Hyder Jr. or a Jason Verrett? They have the cap space. And if you're Robert Saleh trying to establish that all gas, no break mentality on the defense side of the football, well, you already have players in San Francisco that already know the system who can teach the younger guys or teach that cultural identity on what it takes to be a New York Jet. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. All right. Greg Kennedy Jr. from Facebook says Mac Jones could fall to the second round. I don't see that happening. I think Mac Jones ultimately makes it into the first round. It's interesting how Mac Jones came about. I said it in my Twitter receipts before the season began that he is going to have an impact just like Joe Burrow did, where he was like a 5th, 6th, 7th round grade and then having a baller season and then be a first round pick. Now, not the same impact as being the number 1 overall pick, but I did say that Mac Jones would possibly be a first round pick when it's all said and done. Here we are. I don't see him getting out of the first round. Just my opinion. Check my YouTube, Twitter receipts. It's all in there. Again, that's why you guys follow me for my forward thinking and analysis and spot on predictions, as well as my giveaways. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to your questions. 49ers Ultimate Report from YouTube. The BEASTwriter family is strong. The force is strong with this one. All right. Beast, I know you said Jimmy G must go, but what do you think if Jimmy should be a bridge quarterback? I mean, I hate to use Jimmy G as a bridge quarterback because on the back of his mind, I think he views himself as a starter. The New England Patriots, man, I'm telling you, don't count out the New England Patriots, which is why I put up that podcast here. Now that you guys see this GM John Lynch one, I'm going to put up another podcast. Again, check my Twitter, YouTube receipts. They don't lie. I put this out weeks ago. I'm just going to put it out there for you guys so you guys know what's going on. It's called Making Sense of Jimmy Garoppolo to the New England Patriots, right? I already talked about this on my live stream 2 days ago, but I'll put this one out that I put out on February 6th. So over a month ago on the draft evaluation. And today, what are we talking about? A day 2 pick. What did I say on on February 6th? A day 2 pick. Second round pick to be exact. See? I'm just saying this is why you guys follow me. I'm going to put it up there for you so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, man, I didn't see that podcast, bro. Well, here it is. Right there for you. Check it out. Making Sense of Jimmy Garoppolo to the New England Patriots and the value there. See, I'm putting this all out there for you. This was a month ago and it's still holding true. Now people are saying, oh yeah, day 2 pick. Just saying. All right. Whew. Christopher Ross, thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. I love interacting with you. Get yourself a YouTube account, bro. I'm just saying. All right, Niners All Day 55 from YouTube, part of the BEASTwriter family. Do you think that Watson wants to be a Niner? Yes. Again, I will put out another podcast. Again, if you check my Twitter receipts, why did I say that the 49ers were the most intriguing option? I said that before Deshaun Watson came out and said he was intrigued to play by the 49ers. Check my Twitter receipts. It all checks out. I actually spoke about that on an earlier podcast. Again, there's too many podcasts that I can bust out Twitter receipts on and YouTube receipts on. Just follow me. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on the bell notification so you get notified when I go live or when I upload content. But if you don't have a YouTube account, just type in BEASTwriter, Deshaun Watson, or BEASTwriter, whatever topic you want to know about that I said in real time. It's all there. Justin Jefferson was the one that got, well, actually the Buckner one is the one that got me a lot of traffic. My very first podcast episode. Once he was traded, I said it's going to have a domino effect. And the Niners are not going to be Super Bowl contenders. It turns out that's what's happening. Yep. All right. Niners all day. Imagine Zach Wilson, Troy Warner, and Fred. Yes, absolutely. Get those BYU Cougars in San Francisco. For those who don't know who Troy Warner is, that's Fred Warner's brother. Get that guy. I like it. All right. SF Gold Rush from YouTube. Ryan, I read yesterday Trent could go to the Chiefs. How can they afford all these players? Well, let me tell you, if you watched my earlier podcast and earlier live stream, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the BEASTwriter family. If this is the first time you left a comment on my live stream or comment, I know this because I respond to every single person. That's how I run things here in the social media engagement platform here on YouTube. But getting back to your question, I believe ultimately that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to wipe their hands clean of Mitchell Schwartz. And I said that earlier. That was one of my bold predictions. Obviously, we knew what happened in the Super Bowl with Mitchell Schwartz missing, Eric Fisher being out. They're playing with backups. Ultimately, it affected them winning the Super Bowl. Trent Williams could possibly make a play in Kansas City, but you're talking about left tackle there. They already have Eric Fisher there. So I don't see them getting rid of Eric Fisher. So although I can see how maybe they would want to move Eric Fisher maybe to the right side or maybe even cut Eric Fisher, I don't know what the dead cap is on that. Let me just go ahead and look at that. I can go ahead and run down the numbers for you because, again, that is an interesting point. I did point out that Mitchell Schwartz would be that tackle if they were to choose which cap casualty would be in play. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Chiefs. This is what I do, right? Analyze all 32 NFL teams, and then we look at it. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up the Kansas City Chiefs salary cap situation. Brett Veach is the GM, been the GM there since 2018. So we are just pulling it up as we go ahead and talk about the AFC West 2019 Super Bowl champions. All right. So Eric Fisher currently has $15.1 million cap hit for 2021. He only has $3.1 million in dead money. So the team would be saving 11.9, basically $12 million in cap savings if they were to release Eric Fisher. Interesting, because as of right now, they're $20 million in the hole, actually $21 million in the hole. So they need cap space, right? Brett Veach understands this free agency. He's going to need cap space. Ultimately, Eric Fisher could be gone. I mean, you look at the cap savings, $12 million. They're $20 million in the hole. If they got rid of Eric Fisher, could they replace him with Trent Williams? Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're not going to get rid of guys like Chris Jones or Tyrann Mathieu or someone like that. Those guys are the heart and soul of the team. So I don't see those guys going anywhere. Obviously, Pat Mahomes, Frank Clark aren't going anywhere. So if they're trying to shed fat when it comes to the salary cap, Eric Fisher is the number one guy. So interesting. This is why the BEASTwriter family is so strong, because, again, I like the ideas that you guys bring out and what you're hearing, and you guys want my take on it. Yeah, wow. Isn't that interesting that they could actually release Eric Fisher, save the team $12 million. They're $20 million in the hole, and then they can roll over whatever money left over into going after Trent Williams. Interesting. I did not know that. I don't know who reported that, but wow. If that happens, I have Trent Williams. If you guys watch my live stream or my earlier podcast, you guys know how I feel about Trent Williams. I think he's ultimately going to end up in Indianapolis with DeForest Buckner. I point out my reasons why and how GM Chris Ballard, who I believe is a top 5 GM, can leverage negotiations with his own in-house free agents to pry away Trent Williams from San Francisco. All right. Doug McLean from YouTube says, if they don't know Dana and Bryant Young, they can't be fans. Truth about Armstead, though. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they can't be fans. I'm an old guy. For those who don't know, I am 37 years old. Yes, 37, not 27. Funny story, when I was working with the 49ers as one of the team's beat writers, I went back to my hometown of San Diego. I call it my hometown because that's my second home. Obviously, I covered the preseason game and Colin Kaepernick was on the team. Went to San Diego when they, obviously they were San Diego Chargers at the time. Went back to my alma mater, San Diego State University, stepped on campus, had a backpack on. I always bring a backpack. You guys all know that. When I walk in the parking lot, Levi Stadium, entering the stadium with my beanie on, it's like, dude, this guy's a college kid. He looks lost. No, I'm just going to work. Anyways, when I was at San Diego State, they're like, I went to the admissions because I wanted some San Diego State swag. And I was like, dude, I need some San Diego State swag. I need to represent. Want to go on TV? That'd be kind of cool, right? Represent San Diego State. So I get some stuff. And the cashier, this girl, she's like, oh, how's your semester going? And I look at her, I'm like, are you joking? Like, are you being serious right now? She straight face. She's like, oh, what major are you in? Like, wow. Okay, I take that as a compliment. But anyways, if you don't know Dana Stubblefield and Bryant Young, those guys were basically the defensive tackle tandem during their glory years. Daniel Stubblefield, if I remember correctly, he wore number 94. Bryant Young wore number 97. Nick Bosa's number now. I don't know why they didn't retire Bryant Young's number. I think that's a total shame. Bryant Young, to me, is one of the all-time great 49ers of all time. They should retire his number, maybe because, I don't know. Anyways, if you guys don't know the story, basically, Dana Stubblefield had a hell of a year, had 15 sacks in one season, playing next to Bryant Young. He then goes on, gets rewarded in Washington with a big money contract, playing alongside Dan Wilkinson, only replicated 1.5 sacks the following year, then returns to San Francisco years later after having 1.5, 3 sacks, 4 sacks, nothing more than 5 or 6 sacks in the season. In fact, I don't think he had more than 5 sacks in the season without Bryant Young. Came back. Obviously, we know the story there. Bryant Young was the engine that made that defense go up front. DeForest Buckner was the Bryant Young. Dana Stubblefield is what Eric Armstead is. So, yeah, those who know, you know. If you know, you know, right? That old saying. All right. Who is the best option at right guard? Thank you so much for the love. I'm not sure if I'm more concerned with right guard or right tackle. Man, I am concerned with both positions, bro. Like, okay, true story. I like Mike McGlinchey. I know a lot of people are not high on Mike McGlinchey. I actually like Mike McGlinchey. I want to see how he bounces back. People talk about his weight. Again, I think people put too much stock about his weight because, again, if you're not in the fitness industry game or if you don't know how different people carry their weight, how can you say put on and hit them with what's called body analysis? Oh, you need to put on 15 pounds, bro. You need to put on 25 pounds, bro. I'm like, okay, like, what are you talking about? Someone came up to me at the gym and says, hey, bro, you're looking a little small, bro. You need to put on some weight. How much you weigh? Bro, I'm only 5'5", bro. How much you think I can, how much can I actually put on, bro? I'm like 97% muscle. Legit. Like, what do you think? Like, you tell me. Oh, bro, like, you need to work on your legs more. Well, if I'm an athlete, if I'm a football player, yeah, I need to work on my legs. But again, it depends on the position. If I'm playing running back, obviously I need a strong lower trunk. So I'll be doing a lot of squats, a lot of deadlifts, a lot of power cleans, those types of power movements. But then again, if you're a wide receiver, you really don't need strong legs, right? You just need your speed. So how can you build up your overall physique without compromising the speed? So when people say, oh, he's too skinny to play wide receiver, he can't get off the line of scrimmage. Really, bro? Are you sure about that? Because look at Jerry Rice over the years. Oh, yeah, okay. You're right. How about Marvin Harrison? Oh, yeah. Oh, Devontae Smith. Knock on Devontae Smith. Oh, he's too small. If you watch my earlier podcast, I say Devontae Smith is the next Marvin Harrison. I said that 2 months ago. Devontae Smith is the next Marvin Harrison. And you know who Jamar Chase is going to be? The next Reggie Wayne. 2 Indianapolis Colts players. I'm telling you, those guys are the real deal. Now watch me be wrong. Beast, you said that Marvin Harrison was just as, or Devontae Smith was going to be as good as Marvin Harrison. I don't know. That's my comp. You guys wanted comparisons? There's my comparisons. I like how people say, who's your comp? But no, getting back to your question on right guard, right tackle, it's a mess, man. I don't know what's going to happen there. We just have to see how free agency plays out. All right, Kevin Jeter from YouTube. Have you scouted Troy Warner? He may be worth taking a flyer on. I see where you're going with this, Kevin. And yes, I scouted Troy Warner. If you watched my live stream, which I know you did because you were on there, Fred Warner's dad was also on there. And I believe Troy Warner was on there, if I'm not mistaken. But getting back to your question, yes, I have scouted him. And do I like him? I absolutely love Troy Warner. I think he's a beast. I think he would be a nice pickup. Now, how that's going to play out in the draft, we don't know, but a Troy Warner podcast dedicated to Troy Warner is coming up. Stay tuned for that. That one's going to go hot and live. I know all you guys are wondering because obviously I'm tied to Fred Warner. You guys all know the backstory on that, on me breaking the news back on November 3rd. If you missed that podcast on why I think he was due a front-loaded deal, and I was like, no, he's under contract. I was like, okay, cool. And then 2 months later, Richard Sherman comes out and says, oh, yeah, I won't be returning because they re-signed Fred Warner. And then I was like, oh, yeah, BEASTwriter was right. Dude, why don't you just listen to me? All right, Don McLean from YouTube says, still pissed at Ken Norton Jr. for that Bryant Young injury, too, by the way. You blame Ken Norton Jr. for that? Yeah, for those who don't know, I mean, there's a few, right? There's a few plays that Bryant Young had some gruesome injuries. I think he tore his ACL on that one play. I think it was a Monday night game against the Detroit Lions, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys remember that game, I think it was against the Detroit Lions. I could be wrong. I don't know. It was like back in 1999 or something like 2000, something. I don't know when it was. Anyways, if you guys remember the game, Bryant Young towards ACL, MCL, or something like that, right? It was a gruesome leg injury. He was in a freaking knee brace for the longest time, came back, had a hell of a career. And gosh, I miss Bryant Young. I know him personally. Actually, when I worked at Club One in the Silver Creek Sportsplex where High Five Pizza used to be. See, I like talking about pizza and food because I'm a fatty at heart. There's a place called High Five Pizza at Silver Creek Sportsplex. Back when I graduated from San Diego State University, I worked at this high-end club. It's called Club One. Many of you guys probably know where Club One is. It was also in Santana Row, for those who remember Santana Row. And there was this, what the cupcakes, what was that, Kara's Cupcakes or something that's next door, but it was upstairs. You guys know what I'm talking about if you guys know what Club One is. Anyways, Bryant Young would come in. He also went to my church, and we would always discuss football. And one of the things that he talked about was he wouldn't talk about like himself. He would talk about everyone else, but he would never talk about that. I thought that was so awesome. Like, I'd be like, man, you're so good. Here I am as a fan. Like, oh my gosh, you're so awesome, bro. Like, and he's just like, oh, thanks, man. Like, I appreciate it. And then he would like transition into talking about some of the other players. Or, oh yeah, I didn't get there by myself. It was the coaching staff. The coaching staff really, I had some great people around. I mean, that guy, Bryant Young, man, one of the best, man. I'm telling you, both on and off the football field. Great guy, man. Great guy. If you ever met Bryant Young, man, maybe I'll have him on my podcast one of these days. Would you guys like Bryant Young on the podcast? Maybe I can make that happen. All right. Tobias England says, I like yesterday way of presenting questions with black background slightly better. By the way, do you ship the Jimmy bobblehead to Sweden? Tobias, thank you so much for tuning in. So you prefer the other layout. What he's talking about is I'm trying to play with the live stream backgrounds here when it comes to the comment section. And as you see right here, this is how it shows up. I'm playing around with this layout. Yesterday, if you watched my live stream yesterday, go ahead and watch it. If you're subscribing to my channel, or if you don't subscribe, just scroll through BEASTwriter podcast playlist or BEASTwriter live stream or whatever, BEASTwriter Jimmy Garoppolo, whatever. Just scroll through my channel. You'll see my podcast live stream that I put up yesterday. I had a different layout when it came to leaving these comments. And I just want you guys' true background and like feedback on it, because like true feedback on it, because at the end of the day, it's all for you guys. I actually like this background better and this format for the comment section because I think it looks cleaner. But at the end of the day, I do like the other black one, Tobias, because I like the circle layout. So right here, where am I pointing at? Oh yeah, right here. You see how it's a box? It would be a circle. So yesterday's live stream was a circle, and it was also in black. Also, the social media icons were a lot bigger. So like right now you're on YouTube. Most of you guys are on YouTube. It would show up a lot bigger. And I did like that layout. So maybe I need to talk to these guys and say, hey, look, guys, the BEASTwriter family doesn't like this layout here. You guys need to make some changes. Yeah, gosh. Okay. Robert Charay says, I'm subscribed on YouTube, bro. It's just easier to pretend I'm listening to my conference. Oh, that's great, bro. You know what's funny is I had another one of my followers say the same exact thing as you. Is that what you guys do? You guys are like, I hope I don't get you guys in trouble. And if you do, just be like, what's going on? Be like, I'm listening to something very important right now. Tune in, dude. The BEASTwriter has something to say. If you get in trouble, tell your boss, send them my way. I'll make everything okay. Maybe I'll run a 4-hour giveaway specifically for your boss so he doesn't get mad at you. How's that? That's funny. All right, let's go ahead and move on. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them my way. You guys are probably wondering, what the heck is this thing on the bottom? Is it spam? No, it's not spam. It's a link to the podcast that I'm talking about, because people are asking me and telling me I can't find your podcast or I don't subscribe to your channel. So how do I find you? Just watch this podcast. It all relates to the next one. All right, so as I scroll through here, let me just put this other one up. And again, people are saying, how do I find you? If I'm on Facebook, which a lot of you guys are, go ahead and just go to the bottom of your screen, as you see here on this ticker, youtube.com/BEASTwriter. All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, CG Ruthless Sports asks, should we get Emmanuel Sanders or John Brown? That's a great question. Oh, man. Emanuel Sanders would be the smarter play by far. I'm not a fan of John Brown. I would say Emanuel Sanders of the two players. That's my answer. All right. Tobias England from Sweden. Oh, yes. And to get back to your question, would I ship it to Sweden? Yes, if you're willing to pay the shipping cost, because shipping was expensive. I looked it up. It's like $15, $20 to ship this bad boy. If you're willing to pay the shipping on it, hey, man, it's yours. If you win, obviously. If you win the milestone giveaway, which I will do on Fan Fridays. But if not, we can obviously work something out. I want to give back to the people all over the country. Obviously, you're from Sweden. We had the other guy from the Bahamas. We have another guy in Guam. So obviously, the BEASTwriter family is growing all over the country and all over the world, which is awesome. So I am going to give back to you guys. Don't worry. You guys won't be left out. All right. Sam Darnold will save roughly $18.5 million to next season's salary. Okay. Thank you so much, my man, for the news. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. Niners All Day 55 from YouTube asks, do you think Steve Young has an impact on us moving up to number 2 and drafting Zach Wilson because they both went to BYU? Ultimately, no. Absolutely not. Now, does Steve Young have an influence in who the quarterback should be based on his analysis? Absolutely. Does he actually have a say in how the 49ers attack whoever that quarterback is? Absolutely not. That's more personnel decision. That's more John Lynch's thing. Obviously, he has a strong supporting cast with Adam Peters there being promoted to assistant GM. And you also have Parag Marathe and some of the few other guys, the scouts. Ethan Waugh, the director of college scouting, great guy. If you don't know who Ethan Waugh is, I'm giving Ethan Waugh props. Ethan Waugh is the director of college scouting. He's my boy. We talk all the time about scouting. When I worked with the Niners, I would spit facts to him, talk about prospects, not just this year's prospects, for instance. I'd go over in 2 years' time and be like, hey, keep an eye out in 2 years. He's like, what? Like who? And then he'd come back and be like, oh, I know who you're talking about now. But no, it's always fun. Ethan Waugh, I'm giving you props, man. I think Ethan Waugh should be in line for some kind of assistant GM role too, because I think Ethan Waugh does a very good job at scouting players. And Ethan Waugh, if you guys don't know who he is, I'm going to put it up here on the ticker for you, because I think Ethan Waugh deserves some love. And I'm a huge Ethan Waugh fan. So if you guys want to Google search him, give him a shout out, say BEASTwriter said you're doing great work, do it. Ethan Waugh, there you go. Look him up. Great guy, great person. Again, really knows his stuff. And I think he would be a great GM down the road. He worked his tail off. I'm a big fan of Ethan Waugh. I'm going to leave this up here. Ethan, if you're watching, hit me up. Hit your boy up. And let me know how you're doing. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Alex Faulkner, my boy Alex Faulkner, huge Niner fan. Been with me since day one. What's up, Beast? What is up, Alex? How you doing, brother? Do you think Kyle Long coming out of retirement points to Russell being traded to the Bears? Schefter, as in Adam Schefter, said Bears would give up anything for him on Get Up today. Well, now here is something that we can discuss. Russell Wilson to the Chicago Bears. I have a lot of Chicago Bears fans here, and I will now do a podcast on this because I know it's going to go live and going to go crazy. I was thinking about going to the gym. You guys know how I need to get my gym gains. If you guys weren't paying attention yesterday, my coach was on me. He was hitting me up on my texts. Does I even call it texts? Texts. He was texting me and saying, hey, you got to get to the gym now. But anyways, getting back to Russell Wilson, that'd be awesome, man. I could see Kyle Long possibly coming back. What do you guys think about Russell Wilson being traded to the Chicago Bears? Do you guys like that move? If you do, drop your comments. I want to know what you guys have to say, not just 49ers related news, but how would that shake up the NFC West? If Russell Wilson was to get traded to the Chicago Bears, what would it take for the Bears to give up in return? Ultimately, I already did a podcast on this, and I had a trade scenario where the Chicago Bears don't have the financial strain because of $200,000 in salary cap health. They need salary cap health. How do you get salary cap health? Well, you can wipe your hands clean of the guy they just tagged in wide receiver Allen Robinson, then trade him off to the Baltimore Ravens, who need a wide receiver one next to Hollywood Brown because he ain't the answer. Can't count on guys like Willie Snead. Really, bro? And then you get your blindside left tackle, supposedly blindside left tackle Orlando Brown Jr., trade him because he wants to be a left tackle, but you have Ronnie Stanley making $19.7 million there. Ship him back to Chicago. Now you get your blindside left tackle. Maybe Kyle Long comes back to play the right side. And then you get Russell Wilson. Dun, 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 dun. It makes financial sense because you still get a Pro Bowl left tackle on a rookie deal. You can then wipe your hands clean of Charles Leno Jr., who, this is BEASTwriter analysis coming at you hard. Yes, Charles Leno Jr., you get rid of him, go with a cheaper rookie contract and an upgrade at the position in the Pro Bowl player Orlando Brown Jr. out of the Baltimore Ravens. Once you require him through trade, shipping off Allen Robinson to the Baltimore Ravens. Could happen. All right. Should the Niners sign Nick Martin? CG Ruthless Sports from YouTube. I mean, what else is out there? I mean, Nick Martin's cool, but I would rather get a guy like Creed Humphrey in the second round if he lasts that long. I don't think Landon Dickerson is going to get past the first. If he does, he would be in play, but no, I would go in a different direction for sure. All right. All right. Absolutely. SF Gold Rush. Thank you for the love and support, bro. I see you and I value your input. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, we are running BEASTwriter family giveaways on Family Fridays. We just unlocked the first BEASTwriter family giveaway, which is this game day commemorative pennant at the last game at Candlestick, most commonly known the pick at the stick, complete with the NFL license logo. We also have, which is also in mint condition. It's not bent or torn in any way, shape, or form. All you got to do to enter is be sure to subscribe to my channel. And you can do that simply by looking at the link below, which I don't have right now. I will put it up, but we're giving away that. We are also giving away a 2018 bobblehead, Jimmy Garoppolo, again, complete with the license logo. And this 49ers Rumble Pack, complete with the NFL license logo for all who subscribe. Now, if for some reason you aren't a Niner fan, which I know about 35% of you aren't, don't worry. You will get a gift of $25 value. Just go to the team store. Tell me what you want. I'll buy it and I'll ship it out to you if you are the selected winner. Again, if you guys want to find me, you guys are wondering how to find me, I am going to put it up here for you guys so you guys can figure out where to find me and subscribe to my channel, because all you guys were saying yesterday, I can't find you and I want to find you. So here you go. It's on the bottom. Just go to www.youtube.com/BEASTwriter. Open up in a new web browser. You'll be good to go. Also, if you're on Twitter, even easier than that. Just click the link in my bio. It's there for you. It's there for you 24/7, 365. It's been there for the better half of, I don't know, almost a year and a half now. So click on that link. It'll forward you to the YouTube community page where you can subscribe to my channel. Okay, cool story. All right. Rashi from YouTube says, with your inside connections, in your opinion, which coach got more out of his players, Jim Harbaugh or Kyle? Ooh. How come I feel like you're not just asking me this? You're setting me. No, I'm joking. All right. So Rashi from YouTube, great question. He asked, with your inside connections, obviously I was a beat writer for the team from 2013 to 2018. In your opinion, which coach got more out of his players, Jim Harbaugh or Kyle Shanahan? That is a tough question. Jim Harbaugh would say you never compare the two, because when you do, you diminish the success of the other person. That's something I took with Jim Harbaugh. But I'm not Jim Harbaugh. And if I had to say, I really have to think hard about this one. Both coaches, this is a tough question. This is a really tough question, and you can tell with every answer, I really methodically think about it. I don't just say, oh, no. And then, oh, what the heck was that all about? To answer your question, I would say that answer is ultimately Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh changed the cultural identity in San Francisco from a losing one to a winning one. You look at the players and the way they rallied around Jim Harbaugh. Now, he did wear out his welcome toward the end. I will say that 110%. His last couple years there weren't so glamorous, especially in 2014. Trust me. my office is there, right? From 2013 to 20, like I had 24/7 access to Levi Stadium. My office was there. I saw stuff. I didn't report a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I report and a lot of stuff I don't report, obviously. Talk to a lot of the players. You guys know I'm friends with a lot of the players, a lot of the family members. But if I had to say it, definitely Jim Harbaugh got the most out of his players. It's a hard decision. It's not a landslide decision, but I would say if you're looking at it percentage-wise, 61%. 61%, maybe. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Christopher Ross, I kept looking for a Bryant Young jersey, couldn't find one, so I have to have one made at 49ers team store. He's one of my favorite players. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Christopher Ross, thank you for acknowledging that. Yes, if you guys don't know who Bryant Young is, please look him up. Bryant Young is awesome. One of the best defensive tackles to ever play the game. And he did it in an era where he had to do it against the guys of John Randall, right? Leroy Glover, who went to the San Diego State University. So a lot of these guys that he played with, he was outshining those guys. And why Bryant Young is not in the Hall of Fame, it's crazy. Bryant Young was the man. Like when I talk about the man, let's just put it this way. He was carried off the field in his last game at Candlestick. Carried off by the players. That's how much he's well respected, not just by the coaching staff, but by the players and the fans. So, Bryant Young, that'd be cool to have him on the show. Maybe I'll reach out to him and get Bryant Young on the show. All right. CJ Ruthless Sports, I met Dennis Double in Fresno. Cool guy. Yeah, he's a cool guy. I actually know him personally. I actually watched his kids, babysat his kids when they were younger. And yeah, he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. He got into some trouble. Obviously, we know the story there. So didn't see that one coming. But I mean, yeah. All right. Jerry Yang from YouTube says chances of getting Emmanuel Sanders. He signed a 2-year, $24 million contract. He would need to take at least half of that for the 49ers to have a chance. Does he take a pay cut? If so, is Bourne gone? Man. I can see Emmanuel Sanders coming back. Is Bourne gone? Obviously, you can't keep both players. Ultimately, I see them rolling with the cheaper alternative and going after, well, not cheaper alternative, I should say better alternative, and going after Emmanuel Sanders. Now, it comes down to financials. We still have to resign Fred Warner. I said it since day one. We have to make him the number one priority first. All right. Facebook user, thank you for tuning in. If you're on Facebook, you have to give StreamYard access so that you don't show up as simply Facebook user. Access as in, so you show up, not access to your personal information, obviously. That would be wrong and illegal. But yeah, so check it out. Make sure you turn on StreamYard.com because I don't know who's saying this. It just shows literally a blank avatar. But thank you for your analysis. Mike McGlinchey was good his rookie year, and that's it. Yeah, pretty much. And for you, Facebook user, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so this doesn't happen. That's another way why I like YouTube. It just pops up. All right. Junior Bryant, greatest of all time. Roy from YouTube. I talked about Junior Bryant yesterday. Junior Bryant was a great complimentary role player. He wore jersey number 90, played alongside guys like Roy Barker, number 92. I like Roy Barker. If you guys remember Roy Barker, if I remember correctly, he came from the Minnesota Vikings, I believe. I think he went on to play for the Cleveland Browns, if I'm not mistaken, thereafter. I don't know if I remember this correctly. I do remember during that time, they were trying to go after a guy by the name of Reagan Upshaw. I remember ESPN, John Clayton at the time when he worked for ESPN, he actually had that during this time of year. How I remember this, I don't know. I was a freaking nerd as a kid, I guess, when it came to 49ers knowledge. But you guys all are too, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, I remember Reagan Upshaw was in line to go to the San Francisco 49ers once free agency opened. And John Clayton was hyping up Reagan. Oh, they're going to get Reagan Upshaw. They're going to get Reagan Upshaw. And I believe at the time he was with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Ultimately, I think he landed with the Oakland Raiders at the time. I'm not sure. I don't remember correctly. I mean, you're talking about the 19 or maybe even 2000, late 90s, early 2000s. But yeah, if you guys remember that, If I'm getting this correctly, that's crazy. But yeah, Junior Bryant. That's funny. All right. Oh, Chris Dolman. I wish Chris Dolman played more years for. Yes. If you guys don't know who Chris Dolman is, he has the physique like Merton Hicks, has the long neck, very tall, much built like DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, but I would say was from pass rushing standpoint, not better than DeForest Buckner, obviously, but definitely better than Eric Armstead as a pass rusher. Wore number 56, always wore the white long sleeves or red long sleeves under his jersey, never went bare. He always had that long sleeve look. And Chris Dolman came from the Minnesota Vikings, one of the best pass rushers ever. Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, Chris Dolman was an absolute monster, had a gap between his teeth, which is cool. But Chris Dolman got it done. I love Chris Dolman. Yeah, Chris Dolman. They had Roy Barker. They had Bryant Young, Junior Bryant, Brenston Buckner. Brenston Buckner, who is still an NFL coach now. I believe he coaches the Arizona Cardinals as their D-line coach, if I'm not mistaken. Also coached with the Raiders and the Panthers, I believe. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm getting this right. This is amazing. But I cover all 32, so I should get it right. All right. 49ers Ultimate Report. Would you trade Jimmy G, Fred Warner? Nope. I just read Fred Warner and said, nope. This is how it's going to be, man. I tell you that. If I'm on the phone right now, if I'm not on the phone with Nick Caserio and he's like, hey, hi, this is Nick Caserio. I'm thinking about trading Deshaun Watson. He actually just spoke with his agent. He says he's willing to trade his no trade clause to go to the San Francisco 49ers, which obviously you guys are in position in doing. He's obviously reported to be intrigued coming to the Bay Area, but I kind of want Fred Warner. If I'm John Lynch on the other line, this is what I'm going to do. Whoop! Just like that. I want Fred Warner. Whoop! See ya. Not going to happen. Not today. All right. Roy Dane from YouTube says, might sound crazy, but my favorite one-year wonder Niners signing was cornerback Rod Woodson. Ooh, smart one. Yes, he was a one-year wonder. I loved Rod Woodson when he came to San Francisco. I believe he came from Pittsburgh, right? And I thought during that year, I believe that year was 1990. Was it 1997? I believe it was 1997, if I'm not mistaken. They still had the gold pants going on. If I'm not mistaken, he was playing cornerback, though. He wasn't playing free safety. I believe he was playing cornerback. He did pick up some nice interceptions against the New Orleans Saints during that season, if I remember. It was a home game where he picked up 2 picks or something like that against the New Orleans Saints. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 3. I don't know. That was all about Rod Woodson did. But that defense was ranked in the top 10. I think they were top 5. I think they were actually ranked number 1. If I remember correctly, during that year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Roy from YouTube. But yeah, Rod Woodson was an absolute baller in that one year. My favorite 49ers player, which I said on my live stream of all time, I don't care if he was a one-year wonder, was Deion Sanders. Prime time. Prime time was my all-time favorite 49er of all time because he's prime time. Hey, let me tell you something about Deion Sanders. You could be mad at him for leaving to go to and play for the Dallas Cowboys, but at the end of the day, he was willing to come to San Francisco when he had offers from the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, New Orleans Saints, Dallas Cowboys, and opted to play for $1.2 million to end the quest for 5. Was it worth it? Absolutely. That roster was freaking loaded. They brought in guys like Tim McDonald from the Phoenix Cardinals before they were the Arizona Cardinals. They were called the Phoenix Cardinals. Strong safety, Pro Bowl player. Got Merton Hinks. Got Eric Davis. Got Deion Sanders, the best secondary in all of football. And then you double down on that with guys like Ken Norton Jr. from the Dallas Cowboys. You got Lee Woodall. Pick up Gary Plummer from the San Diego Chargers. Got other guys up front like Bryant Young, right? So everything was in play for them to succeed. It was nice for them. Daniel Stubblefield. It was just awesome to see them thrive That 1994 team was absolutely amazing. Amazing. But Rod Woodson, yeah, man, how you can go wrong? That guy was, I liked Rod Woodson too. But I'm a defensive guy. All right. Alex Faulkner from YouTube says, Christian McCaffrey and Shaq Thompson both restructured their contracts and have made other moves to make cap room. Is this an indication Watson is going to Carolina soon? Why else would CMC restructure? Well, CMC would restructure because it's a decreased salary cap. I think you're going to see a lot of players starting to restructure their deals because all these agents and all these GMs are asking their agents to go ahead and do that because you're still getting the guaranteed money. The only difference is when you hear players restructuring in a decreased salary cap, moving from 198.2 million to 182 or whatever that number is, which is the 8% increase of 175, you're looking at it financially like this. If you're making, for instance, $50 million a year, right, and you're on a 5-year contract, and your roster bonus for the upcoming season, let's say, is $5 million. Well, instead of getting $5 million up front for that 2021 cap number, you can roll over and do what's called a restructure and restructure that roster bonus for the upcoming season into the form of a signing bonus over the lifelong of that contract. So if you just signed a 5-year, $50 million contract with $5 million due in 2021 as a roster bonus, well, then you can spread that 5 million and go 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million over the course of 5 years. So that way the cap hit is not absorbed as strongly, front loaded. Make sense? Makes sense. All right. CG Ruthless Sports, I listen to your show on Grant Cohn every day to get better insights. Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. If you didn't catch Two Bums on a Pod, I think I uploaded it right now. You guys can go ahead and watch that after this one's over. Robert says from Facebook, if Wilson leaves the NFC West, I'm not mad. I don't think anybody would be mad if he left the NFC West, bro. I think they'd be happy. Ken Mueller from YouTube, you should send that Jimmy Garoppolo bobblehead to Bill Belichick. Oh, and by the way, if you guys see me wearing team colors or team stuff other than the 49ers, you guys all know, or for you guys that don't know, I cover all 32 NFL teams. Also, I have friends on all different teams. They get a lot of free crap and they can't use it, so they just ship it to me. So if you see me wearing a Dolphins t-shirt or a New England Patriots t-shirt or a Steelers hat or whatever the case may be, don't get mad at me. It's just my boys giving me stuff because they get free stuff and they're like, dude, I have so much stuff, I don't know what to do. It happens. So yeah. Anyways, getting back to that. Yeah, maybe I should send Bill Belichick the bobblehead. That would be awesome. All right. I thought, are we in the backpack for the best avatar? Or what happened? The backpack release will be once we hit 1,500 subscribers, sir. All right. Chewy Marquez from YouTube says, why didn't you report stuff? What do you want me to report? What stuff do you want me to report? I don't understand. Bryant Young was awesome. Yes, Evan, thank you for tuning in from Facebook. Bryant Young was awesome. And he was one of the greatest players on the 49ers, hands down. I always thought it was interesting how they never retired his number, because when you look at it, why wouldn't you retire Bryant Young's number? I mean, he was the standard at defensive line for so many years and so many coaching staffs, and still put up good numbers, good sack numbers. All right. Interesting. Thank you, Power Pond Ranger from YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you guys have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and shoot these over. I'm going to post up these comments in the meantime. Again, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, you can do that in the lore ticker right here. Or if you're watching on Twitter, which I know some of you are, go ahead and click the link in my bio so you'll be entered for our weekly giveaways, which includes, again, the bobblehead, which I'm sending to Bill Belichick. No, I'm not joking. Or am I joking? And I'm sending this game day commemorative pennant, last game at the stick. Most commonly known, the pick at the stick, complete with the NFL license. This is going to be released on Friday for Family Fridays at 2:30 p.m. on the live stream. And we are also releasing this 49ers backpack. All right. So this thing's pretty heavy. I'm not going to lie. It's heavy duty stuff. It's not the flimsy one that they handed out back in, I think it was 3 years ago. It was a gray backpack, really flimsy. This one is not. It's actually heavy duty. The quality of that backpack, to be honest with you, I'm not sure I want to give it away, but I already said I would. So that's my bad. This is what I do. I give my good stuff to you guys. What a nice guy I am. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. I still don't understand why Brian. Yes, I don't understand why he's not in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, there's a logjam there. We still don't know exactly how the voters vote. I mean, some just, I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's really odd. We'll love to. Okay, Christopher Ross left all these former players. One guy I was sick about losing though was Julian. Oh, I agree with you, Christopher Ross from Facebook. I am in the same boat. If you guys don't know who JP is, Julian Peterson, he was the modern day NFL linebacker. He actually, in my opinion, transcended the linebacker position before people were calling these guys edge rushers. Like today, you hear the name edge, right? When deciphering between a 3-4 outside linebacker or a 4-3 defensive end, the term they use is now edge in all caps, right? Edge rusher. Well, back then in the early 2000s, late 90s, they were called tweeners. And a tweener was a hybrid linebacker defensive end. And Julian Peterson, coming out of Michigan State, was the best hybrid linebacker coming out of that 2000 NFL draft. I believe he was drafted number 16 overall, when the Niners had 2 first-round picks, and they rolled over at 24 and also went cornerback at Plummer. They got 4 defensive players in that draft. In the second round, they got Jason Webster out of Texas A&M. Great guy, great person, know him personally. And then they also rolled over and also got a guy by the name of John Engelberger out of Virginia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. So all these guys that came to the 49ers were really the foundational core of that team moving forward. But Julian Peterson, getting back to him, man, he was the tweener. He was the edge. And not only could he be an edge presence, but he locked down Tony Gonzalez. If you guys remember this game, I was at that game in Candlestick because, as you guys know, I had front row season tickets since 91. I was actually, I would say, like 20 feet away from what happened. If you guys don't know what happened, there's a guy named by Mickey Flegler. I believe his name is Mickey Flegler. Got railed by Julian Peterson and Tony Gonzalez on the play in the game, which Julian Peterson shut down Tony Gonzalez, manhandled him at the line of scrimmage. I think he only held him to like 1 catch for 3 yards, if I remember correctly. But on one of the plays, one of the 49ers camera crew guys got knocked over, was laying lifeless on the ground. I was literally like 20 feet from it. And as a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope this kid's alive. Or sorry, I hope this guy's alive. He ended up being okay. If you don't know the story, look it up. Mickey Flegler, Julian Peterson. But yeah, Julian Peterson, great guy, great person. Again, I loved his attitude and his swagger on the field. Every time he would go for an interception and miss it, he would end up doing push-ups. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And that became a thing. So, gosh, JP, I hated when he went to the freaking Seattle Seahawks. That freaking pissed me off, man. Like, I was so freaking mad. Like, out of all teams, you had to go to the Seahawks, bro. Like really, the freaking Seahawks? Like, I was mad. I was heated. I was till this day thinking about it. I was like, really, to the Seahawks? You can go to any team. You want the Seahawks? Oh, that one still hurts. That one still hurts. All right, a guy called Ed. I got it right this time, Ed. Thank you for tuning in for the second live stream in a row. Deion Sanders was a one-year wonder. Ricky Watters may have been too. Yes, they were one-year wonders, but hey, they won him the Super Bowl. Ricky Watters ultimately bolted San Francisco and joined Ray Rhodes in Philadelphia. And Deion Sanders went on to join the Dallas Cowboys and then got more Super Bowl rings. So can you blame him? Absolutely not. All right. A guy called Ed said Jose Cortez was a one-year wonder. If you guys don't know who Jose Cortez was, he was a kicker. I believe he scored the game-winning overtime field goal against the Atlanta Falcons. I believe that score was 13-16. and he wore jersey number 6. He lived here on the east side. I know this because I was working at Safeway. Ran into him the next day, asked for his autograph, gave it to me, and he was surprised that anyone recognized him. But I was like, dude, it's because I have front row season tickets. I see you practicing kicks right here with your helmet off. Obviously, I know what you look like. No one knew who Jose Cortez was. Every time he walked into the Safeway, no one knew who he was, but I did. And I was like, I felt special because I knew who he was. I was like, no, that is Jose Cortez. People were like, who's Jose Cortez, bro? Yeah. I was that guy. All right. Doug McLean. The year with primetime was amazing fun. The whole team was dancing. Yes, the whole team was dancing that year. And the bandanas, the swag, you just can't replicate that, man. Like, people try, but it's like some people you just don't gravitate towards. Like, dude, that's not even, like, that's not in you to do that, dude. Like, you're not rubbing off on me, bro. Like, do you be you? But no, Deion Sanders had that swag, bro. I'll tell you that much. All right. 1998 Niners team was amazing too. Stupid Atlanta Falcons got like, yes. If you guys don't know the story, Garrison Hearst broke his fibula on that freaking first drive, if I'm not mistaken, ending his season. Ultimately, Garrison Hearst was known as Sleepy, one of the best running backs to ever play for the 49ers, one of my all-time favorites, played with Mooch. Obviously, he had Fred Beasley blocking in front of him. Gosh, that team was so good in 1998, and they could have gone to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, that gruesome injury just killed it. But we did get Charlie Garner the year after, and I loved Charlie Garner, man. Charlie Garner on the 49ers was awesome to watch, number 25. He was still one of my favorite 49ers too. Charlie Garner was fun to watch, man. In fact, I would argue and say Charlie Garner was more fun to watch than Garrison Hearst, although Garrison Hearst has it on that 96-yard touchdown run in overtime against the New York Jets, Bill Parcells, in that epic game there. All right, let's move on. Oh, see, here we go. If Garrison Hearst hadn't broken first play from scrimmage, we'd have won the Super Bowl. There you go. See, I haven't read that comment yet, but see, we're on the same page. You get this. All right. Random Niner take. Saints with Breeze are doing the same thing what the Niners did with Staley. They're actually in the market for a quarterback, maybe Bridgewater, and waiting for individual. Maybe. We shall see. Christopher Sales, just telling my friend the exact same thing about Breeze. Yes. Who else was upset that freaking JP would do the Niner fans dirty like that and go to Seattle? Well, now that I cover the team as part of the NFL media, I see it. You go where the money is. And if you want to stick it to the team that didn't want you for 2 years or 2 games out of the year, then I get it. Gosh, the Seattle freaking Seahawks, dude. Are you kidding me? Those jerseys were ugly, by the way. Those jerseys that they wore under the Mike Holmgren days were horribly ugly. Like when they had Corian Robinson and some of these other guys, the jerseys were so ugly. That blue, that just looked ugly. Like, what kind of blue was that? Was that even blue? Those jerseys were, it was all like one tone color. I don't know. Ugly. All right. Did you ever come to the Stockton training camps in UOP? No, I did not. I didn't cover the Niners before that, so I did not make the trip to UOP and cover the 49ers training camp up there. To answer your question, I just started in 2013 as the team's beat writer. All right. Christopher Ross says exactly. See? Seahawks. All right. Tobias England says, I miss Roger Craig on the retired numbers list. You and me both, bro. You and me both. Roger Craig should be in the Hall of Fame. Who thinks that Roger Craig should be in the Hall of Fame? Man, just go back to that Vikings game where he just ran through all 11 players. Like, legit, just high stepping, high kneeing everyone, stiff. It don't matter. Get out of the freaking way. I know where I'm going. If you're in my way, too bad. If you get hurt, if I end your career, too bad. This is football. And I need to score 6 points for my team because I am the ultimate team player and I will sacrifice everything on this play to get the job done. That's how Roger Craig played every single down. Ask Tom Rathman. All right. When it comes to safeties, I wish Lance Schulters played more years with. Yes, Roy, you know football, bro. I know you know football because you're bringing up players from the past, from the early 90s. Actually, this is late 90s. Lance Schulters on the back end, for those who don't know, he was the starting free safety. Zach Bronson was the starting strong safety. They would interchange the two. Obviously, you had Tony Parrish back there years later, but Lance Schulters and Zach Bronson were two hard-hitting safeties. Lance Schulters, again, had a great game against the New Orleans Saints. All these defensive backs had good games against the Saints. Rod Woodson had one. Lance Schulters had another one. Jose Cortez. No, he's not. He's obviously not a defensive back, but Jose Cortez. Some of these other guys. But good gosh, man, Lance Schulters. Didn't he wear number 30? And he came out of Hofstra University. Kim, if you're watching this, Kim was actually recruited by Hofstra. It's a football program that no longer exists. Giovanni Carmazzi came out of Hofstra. So did David Fiore. If you guys don't know who those guys are, look them up. David Fiore was actually one of the offensive linemen on that Garrison Hurst touchdown run in overtime against the New York Jets. But getting back to Lance Schulters, man, that guy was a beast. I loved Lance Schulters. I love Lance Schulters, man. That guy was so awesome. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some questions that you have before I wrap things up and hit the gym. Charlie Garner was the most dynamic runner Niners have ever had. Dude, Charlie Garner was so fun to watch. If you guys can watch YouTube highlights of Charlie Garner back with the 49ers, I'm telling you, you guys would be. I mean, is there anyone I can compare Charlie Garner to in this year's draft class? No. Charlie Garner was so fun to watch, man. So underrated, but gosh, the guy was just a hard runner, shifty as heck, made people miss left and right, can catch out of the backfield, used as a receiver, would do this every time he scored a touchdown. Fun to watch. Fun to watch. All right. Michael Robson from YouTube says Jeff Garcia was underrated. Yes, he was. He was very underrated. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that'll be it for today's podcast. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, I will be back. Don't worry. But like I said, be sure to hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. Also, I'm running giveaways. If you're on Twitter, go ahead and subscribe to my channel by simply clicking the link in my bio. It's there for you. Or if you're on Facebook, just follow the URL that's on the ticker right here, youtube.com/BEASTwriter. And we will go ahead and run these cool giveaways for you, which is the bobblehead, which is the 49ers game day pennant, the last game at the stick, and this 49ers Rumble pack. But again, we can't unleash these giveaways unless we have the subscriber count to do it. And we need 1,500 subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe, spread the word to all your family and friends as we continue to grow the BEASTwriter family. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day. BEASTwriter out.